using Autodesk Inventor to create a cheese platter. So here's what our end result is going to look like, and currently from the last tutorial we finished off right here where we just have a board. So now we got to add that shape. So a couple things to start off with. The very middle piece, I'm just going to click on it so I can see where it is. I'm going to expand here, go to origin, and I'm just going to turn on the YZ plane at the moment. So I'm going to go visibility and the XY plane. This is going to give me dead center of the project. And there's times where you actually want to work off the dead center of something, so it's important to always have your pieces, when you make them, centered on 0, 0 in the center of the piece. So once that's done, the next part we're going to do is go over to Sketch at the top. From Sketch, we're going to start a 2D sketch, and we're going to start it on this piece here, which is the center piece. All right, so it turns over like this, and now what I got to do before I can do anything is I got to do what's called project geometry. So if I click a circle right now, there's nowhere to find 0, 0. You can't actually start from an edge, and it doesn't latch onto an edge. So what we do is we go to project geometry first off, and I'm going to put just these edges in. Or what I can do is I can go right to a point and just put the point in. You can see it goes a little plus sign there. The other one I'm going to do is click on this plane and this plane, and what it does locks them in place too. So there's my project geometry, right? And again, I can do the little crosshairs, or I can do lines, doesn't really matter. Right? So now I'm going to start with a, let's go with rectangle to start with. So 2-point center rectangle, if I go here, you can see now it goes to green, right? And I can actually link from the center. Now, that actually isn't going to work for what I want to do. So I'm going to hit escape. And actually, let's try start with a circle. So we're going to add a circle at the very top. And you can see now it highlights in blue, so we actually have some geometry to actually draw from. So I'm going to click on a circle, and I'm going to add a circle here, and I think I'm going to make this one to start off with at 3 inches. Okay. Now the next thing is we're going to CNC route this cheese board, and if you CNC route, you got to leave extras around the edges so that you don't actually run into my fences on the CNC router. So I'm going to pick, hopefully from here to this edge. Oh, I can't do that one yet. So I'm going to put project geometry, and let's go back to here, and I'm just going to add this one here. So now, when I go to do a dimension, I should be able to pick from right there, and I'm going to go right to there, and that's going to want to go from the center. Well, I guess we're going to do a little math. So this circle's 3, so that means 1.5 radius, and I want to leave another 1/2 inch. So I'm going to make this distance 2 away from the edge. That way the CNC router comes around and it doesn't hit the fence later on. So there's the first part. Second part now is I'm going to do a rectangle, but I'm not going to go from the center here. I'm actually going to go somewhere down here, and we can move it afterwards. And basically it's the same thing, is I'm going to put this in. I'm going to dimension from this edge to this edge. Whoops, again, well, I can go from there. Okay, and I'm going to set that to 0.5 of an inch. Okay, and again, over this edge here to here, I'm going to set that to 0.5. Now, the reality is you can probably get away with like 0.4, 0.3, but for this tutorial, we're going to leave this as 0.5. So that from there to there, it's already 0.5. Okay, and there. So what's our overall dimension? If we measure from here to here, your cheese platter is actually going to be 6.75. Whoops. Because I've dimensioned here, you can see how it's actually constrained already. So when I go to put these dimensions in, I shouldn't have hit cancel. Basically what it says is adding dimensions will over constrain the sketch. We can accept it. And what it does is it puts in brackets that that's what the dimension is. All right, so now we got those dimensions there, and we got our cheese platter kind of here. If we don't like the distance, later on, what we can do is put a dimension from here to here, and it might give us, no, it doesn't. So we're going to change this maybe to 8. Okay, and that'll shorten up. So we can always change that. So the next is filleting. So we're going to fillet the corners. So I'm going to set the fillet to 1 inch. Okay, oops, I shouldn't have hit enter. So it's now set to 1, and I'm going to fillet that radius there, and I'm going to fillet this radius here. And then we'll fillet this corner and fillet this corner as ones. So now the last step is to actually add the curve in there. So how we do that is we go to circle, and I'm just going to make a circle just out here somewhere for right now. And I'll dimension it, and I'll maybe set that to 4. Okay, so what we're going to do now is make this tangent, this circle tangent to this circle here and that line. So we go to tangent here, and I'm going to click the circle, and I'm going to click right there. Whoops, Control Z, click the wrong spot. So try that again. click the circle and then click on the actual circle here, tangents to there, and this one is going to be tangent to that line. And you can see now I have a bit of an arc in there, and now you can see they're joined. Now if I take this number, hit escape, and I change this to 5, you can see that that circle changes. The problem is it goes off of this line because it's too big of a radius. So you might have to change and play with this number. Okay, and I see that one's going to work, not quite work there, and maybe it's got to be 4.25, and you can zoom in and you can actually see, no, it isn't quite touching yet. So I'm going to change that one to back to 4. Okay, so that's touching. So now what happens is I can trim, and I'm going to trim out, what am I going to trim out? If I trim out that, it trims the whole thing out. Is it touching it there? Oh, it is touching. So I should be able to trim this out. If I do that, it deletes the whole thing. Interesting. So I'm going to actually stop here because I need to figure something out and I don't want to waste this tutorial. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to finish off right here and just leave this and continue with the next tutorial. So that concludes this tutorial. I'm going to hit Finish Sketch, and then I'll get back into the sketch in the next tutorial.